Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superman Homepage Live, I should say. My name is Steve Eunice. I've just lost Michael Bailey for a second, but I'll get into him in a second. Um, this is Superman Homepage Live, brought to you by SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. My name is Steve Eunice. In this, our August 16th, 2021 show, we're going to be covering a range of topics, including what's going on with the latest and last season 1 episode of Superman and Lois. We're going to be talking about upcoming Supergirl episodes, solicitations for November comic books, and so much more. We're also going to turn to you to ask for your questions and comments on any particular Superman topic you would like to discuss, and to let you know how all that works and how you can get involved in tonight's show. He's a bit late to the show tonight, but he is here, Mr. Michael Bailey. Hey, Mike, what happened?
I was here, and then suddenly it's just like, no, your internet's not going to work right now. So suck it, Bailey. Not that anybody wants to hear about that, because people are here to watch Superman Homepage Live. It's the new name. I'm going to get it right. And because you're watching Superman Homepage Live right now on YouTube, we assume you want to talk about Superman, and we want to hear from you. So about halfway through the show, and if we don't have too much on the docket, we will start taking calls. Just to tell you, tonight's a busy night, but, hope springs eternal. Anyways, how does it work? Well, you're going to go to Skype, you're going to find the Superman homepage, and you're going to message us that you'd like to be on the show. Now, a couple of things. One, message us. Don't just call, because that can screw things up. Also, if you're using an external speaker to watch Superman Homepage Live, please mute that when we're talking to you, because we are on a bit of a delay, and that can screw things up.
Yes, don't want to do standby anymore. We're back. And for those who are tuning in live via YouTube to watch tonight's show, we invite you to join in, chat with fellow fans, post your comments and ask questions. Michael and I will keep an eye on those comments throughout the show, so get involved. And if you want your comment featured live on the screen during the show, that's called a super chat. All you have to do is click the little dollar symbol there beneath you on your screen. A slider will appear. You decide on the dollar amount you're willing to donate, and we will feature your comment or question on the screen live as the show goes to air. And thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. We appreciate your support. Well, Mike, as you said, we've got a full docket, a lot of things to get through in tonight's show. We like to start with movie news, but sadly, there really is no movie news this week.
That's actually legitimately surprising. There's usually is Zack Snyder taking a week off of posting on his whatever account with some picture of Henry Cavill eating like a sandwich from the set of Man of Steel?
Well, he did post something, I think, for Ben Affleck's birthday this week, an old photo of Ben Affleck as Batman from Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. So he is still out there, but it's not really Superman related for us enough to speak about on the show tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. That is a bit of a stretch.
But let's get into the television side of things, where we had the penultimate episode of Superman and Lois air on the CW there last week, and on Fox 8 here in Australia this past week as well. It was titled The Eradicator. It was the 14th and, as I said, second last episode of season 1. What did you make of this episode? Did it do it for you? Were you surprised with where things went?
I was actually... I enjoyed most of the episode. I don't think there's anything that I truly disliked. The one thought I had at the end is I was watching, because I watched it like 2 days after it came on. So certain things got spoiled for me that I'm kind of upset got spoiled for me. But what's funny is like people freaking out about Jordan getting possessed. And on one hand, I'm like, that's great, because that means they're into the show. And even I was just like, oh, wow, that's a really dramatic thing to do. But I kept thinking, this was like every season finale of Smallville. It's like something would happen, and he'd be like thrown into the Phantom Zone, or he'd be like, whisked away, and we don't know where he is, or he's like out in the middle of the Arctic, and Chloe's with him. It's just like... It's amazing how they're doing kind of similar beats, but because of how television has changed, we're not going to do the season finale that Jordan gets taken over. That's the penultimate episode. That's leading into the season finale, and I kind of like that. I loved the conversation between Clark and Lana. Please normalize friendships between men and women that are not sexual in nature. That is fantastic. I did laugh of the suspenseful image of Leslie Lar rising behind Lois, and suddenly she gets hit in the face with a hammer. It's just like, not this time. So no, it was really good. I think the best line of the episode actually goes to Sam Lane. Like, I'm going to give a bunch of drunk teenagers intel, top secret intel. I thought Sam Lane was like great throughout this entire episode. I actually kind of felt bad at him at the beginning because he's really legitimately trying to do everything Lois wants him to do, and he can't win. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I just really, really enjoyed it. I thought it really did a good job of leading us to the finale. Like I said, it's something that I should have seen coming that I didn't, with him grabbing Jordan. And props to Alex on his Twitter account changing the name to Zeta Rho, and his profile picture on Twitter is now him with like the heat vision eyes. So I gotta say that's on point for your social media account. So no, I enjoyed it. I really liked it.
Yeah, I did too. The Morgan Edge thing has kind of dragged on. Obviously, that's the big bad of the season, and that's where there were what I would call maybe a few filler episodes in there that kind of filled out what they were trying to tell. It's kind of come to this big finale. We're waiting to see. A few questions I had. Clark or Superman not being able to find his son and where Tal-Rho has taken him looks like it's in the middle of a nuclear power plant. Is that because it's lead lined and that's why he can't see him?
I assume it probably has to do with taking him underground. Was that the same nuclear power plant from the pilot? And the other thing was Clark was in a highly emotional state. And when you're like really upset, focusing is hard. Mm-hmm. So I think that probably had something to do with it too.
Yeah, well, we've got a stack of questions from John Patrick Van Pelt.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do each week. Do you think Lana and her family will leave Smallville? What will happen to the kids' relationship? No, I don't think they're going to move. I think they'll stay put. Did Tegan Wickham's family own a newspaper in Smallville before Jonathan and Tegan Wickham started hanging out? I'm not sure what that's referring to. Who is Tegan Wickham?
Tegan is the girl that likes Jonathan.
Oh, okay, yes, okay.
No, I don't think they owned a newspaper. I think they moved. She said they've only been there for like a few years.
Yeah, that's right.
From Central City, so.
Yeah. So she's new to town pretty much as well. Is Sam Lane turning his back on Smallville? Why didn't he want to listen to the residents? Well, he did, but he's got state secrets and things that he has to, top secret stuff. He can't be just divulging everything he knows.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, as we rarely reference real world events unless they're really big, like, a pandemic. But over the past couple of weeks, there have been video after video of small town school board meetings where the people are just like, everyone's just acting like idiots. Yeah. And and in one case, like, physically threatening or low-key threatening people for just saying, maybe your kid should wear a mask. So I understood where the crowd was coming from, but the moment one of them spoke up and said, well, maybe maybe they're getting all the stuff that's worth money and taking it. And I'm like, well, there's just a person who has been screwed over and had money taken from him. So now that he just assumes that's everybody.
That's right.
I think there's something to be said for, the town knowing what happened and having full answers and understanding their thing. But on the other hand, there would have been mass panic if he's like when it was announced that Morgan Edge is out there, that crowd turned quiet really fast.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Metropolis, so we don't know what happened next. But still, it's just.
Yeah, and there's obviously a lot of.
I'm with Sam on this one.
Yeah, there's a lot of what he knows and what he's hiding from them is tied to the fact that it's Clark and Lois, that Clark is Superman. Because you start talking about the ex-kryptonite and what's going on there and why they're trying to take it, then you start getting into, well, what's going on with Clark and Lois and why is, and the fact that Clark is Superman. There's a lot of that is tied in to the whole thing. So you can't divulge that kind of information because it's not just what's going on with Smallville, but it's what's going on with Clark and Lois and the fact that he's Superman is so much tied into that. Yeah. Why would Tal-Rho want to kill Jonathan, Jordan, Sarah, and Sam in the first place? Well, because they're standing in his way. I mean, he doesn't care who he kills, really, at this point in time.
And he was really more wanting. Yeah, he wants to grab Jordan. Yeah. I am legit surprised he didn't grab Jonathan too.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that it wasn't that he gave them both powers, because that would have been even more interesting. But I think plot-wise,
yeah,
you need Jonathan, like with Lois and Superman.
Also, I kind of that car crash scene, the fact that none of them were really majorly hurt during that, and that Tal-Rho just stood there while Jonathan got the gun, primed it, ready, and then as soon as he pressed the trigger, he disappeared. Like, he didn't wait 5 seconds earlier, 10 seconds, no, as soon as he pressed the trigger, he vanishes. It's just like that whole build-up of false tension.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd argue that that Sam got pretty banged up in that accident. Yeah, he's probably got some internal bleeding going on.
Yeah, true. So, John Patrick Appel asking, what streaming service can you find Superman and Lois on while we wait for season 2? I believe it's going to HBO Max.
Yeah, that would make sense. I think they would want to, all the new shows that they're doing, that they would want to port over so they don't have to deal with like the legacy contracts with Netflix. I'm sure they're chomping at the bit to get Smallville away from Hulu, so that they can put it on there. But
did you know Smallville reference, I guess, with the kind of bit of an Easter egg there about one of the local businesses closing shop, and it was the character's name from, what was his name? That was the coach at Smallville, that played by.
Are you talking the one that got like the fire powers?
No, did he have the fire powers? No.
Wasn't there a coach in the first season that had the winning?
No, I'm talking about what's his name that came from Supernatural.
Teague, yeah.
Yeah, Teague. Didn't they use that surname there?
I think they did.
Down.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So a few little Easter eggs in there, but yeah, all in all, this was a good episode leading up. How the finale will finish, we kind of have ideas. Teague's hardware store. Thanks, Mike Zumo, in the comments. That was a nice kind of throwback to the Smallville TV series with Jason Teague, I think was the character's name.
Yes.
Their hardware store closed down. I didn't know that they had a hardware store, but it's nice to see the name thrown in there, and I guess a lot of fans caught on to that one. But here is the promo trailer for the season finale of Superman and Lois. It is titled Last Sons of Krypton.
All you care about is one person when everyone else on this planet's about to die. How pathetically human.
Why would he take Jordan?
Why would he take Jordan?
I don't know how much time we have before he's gone.
I have seen how capable the boys have become. They're strong, like their father.
Like their mother.
You can't do it alone. You have to let us help you.
Need to evacuate Smallville. We can go, we can stay and help.
We stay and help. We're gonna fail. Again. No! Where is my son? You have no idea what's coming next.
Dad!
Even Superman won't be able to stop it.
Oh my God.
Dad!
Please help me, I don't want to die.
Superman and Lois, season finale Tuesday at 9, 8 Central. Free next day.
There you have it. Big trailer for the season finale of Superman and Lois. Anything in there that caught your eye?
The Superman return shot of him falling to the earth kind of stood out. Actually, it looked better than Superman Returns. So, no, it's exciting. I really like where everything seems to be heading. I just hope that it's not one of those things where it'll be more of a Supergirl season finale where it ends and it just kind of gives you a hint of what the next season is going to be about, as opposed to a Smallville season finale where they have to spend the season premiere like just wrapping all of those loose ends up before they start getting to what's going on. So
Yeah, well, we look forward to the season 1 finale, Last Sons of Krypton, which will air tomorrow night there in the US, and then Wednesday night here in Australia. Looking forward to seeing what they do with this season finale, and then obviously we look forward to the second season of Superman and Lois sometime early next year. So that was the Superman and Lois segment of our show, a portion of our show. Then, once Superman and Lois had the season 1 finale, we move into new episodes, the final episodes of Supergirl. The 9th episode of season 6 of Supergirl is titled Dreamweaver. We now have the official description for that episode, which will air after the new episode, which will be August 31st, this one. And it says, Kelly meets Joey, a young orphaned alien boy who is acting out in foster care because he fears there is something wrong with his brother Orlando, who is incarcerated. Kelly asks Cara to help her investigate, and they stumble upon abuse at the prison. Meanwhile, Nixley crushes one of Nia's dreams and asks her for help.
Well, it sounds like they're finally getting to like something that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, a bit more
for
substance to
Nixon.
it.
Yeah, so
The next new episode is called Welcome Back, Cara, and obviously a kind of a nod to the old TV series Welcome Back, Kotter, maybe. And then we go into this episode, Dreamweaver, on August 31st. So yeah, new episodes back to back, and continuing on with the final season of Supergirl.
yeah, it's a little sad. It looks like though that they're ramping things up and that the season's going to be at least somewhat interesting. I'm more interested to see what's going to happen with Zor-El than anything else.
What happens to him here on Earth if he sticks around?
Yeah,
That'll be interesting.
will he ever be reunited with Allura? Does Argo City still exist?
Yes, a lot of questions to be answered in the final episodes of Supergirl. But as we know, they finished wrapping filming on Supergirl last week, and the CW released this video asking them about what would they take or steal from their character, which is kind of like a little bit of a tradition with a lot of people. When they wrap things, they don't need them anymore, so most of the time they're going to be throwing them, tossing them, recycling them, whatever they might do. Costumes not so much, but they seem to be a very popular choice of what these people might take when they finish with filming of Supergirl. Have a look.
The one thing I want to steal as my character is the costume. I'm stealing it, I'm keeping it, I'm making it a new pair of pajamas.
Unfortunately not.
I mean, I want to steal this suit.
There might be a problem.
I've already stole so much. I wanted a piece of kryptonite, I got a piece of kryptonite. I wanted a Legion ring, got that.
How could something like this happen?
Well, clearly the system is broken.
The one thing that I would steal from Kelly, if I could, is probably her Guardian helmet.
I had a hunch that this might be coming.
Or snowboard. I really wanted to take the costume and snowboard.
It's called Hand of the Soldier. It's my gauntlet. It can turn into anything.
You just have to picture it.
Rifle, have a sub sandwich, whatever. I love Martian technology.
I mean, if I had a super suit, I'd steal that, but I have an endless amount of high-heeled shoes, which I don't think are practical in real life for me.
Yeah, just part of that video that you can watch in full on our website from the CW about what they would take. David Hare would say that he'd take the suit and use it as a new pair of pajamas. Doesn't look very comfortable.
Yeah, I was about to say that suit looks like the opposite of comfortable. So.
Yeah, but and I saw that Jesse Rath came out in the social media saying, I didn't actually steal all that stuff, like the kryptonite and the Legion ring, and I if there was anything I paid for it or I purchased it or whatever. So I think he got a bit of stick for taking, well, supposedly taking stuff on the set.
I think they should just let him have it. I mean, it's they're the actors. They're like
all that time someone like Jesse would have sat in makeup getting green skin and that put on him like.
Yeah, I'm glad they stopped making him look like Doc Brown from Back to the Future and more like the comic book version of Brainiac.
Very good. So yeah, you can check that out, that video in full at our website right now. But also on the television side of things, Titans Season 3, the first 3 episodes are available to stream right now on HBO Max. And they released this 4th episode promo trailer. If you'd like to check it out, here is the episode trailer for Titans titled Blackfire.
The kid always had issues, but he was not a full-blown psychopath.
I don't know what's happening to me. Something's wrong with me.
I want out of this place. Gotham doesn't understand justice. It only understands terror.
This is gonna be a bloodbath.
Jason's gone. He's Red Hood now. It's time we all accept what he is.
Donna was a hero. She's never coming back.
I think I'm losing my mind.
Didn't my sister tell you I'm dangerous?
I am who I am because of you!
The battle for Gotham ends tonight. You ain't seen nothing yet.
There you have it, the trailer for the 4th episode of Season 3 of Titans. I haven't been able to watch the first 3 yet, but...
yeah, neither have I.
But, yeah, it's good to see Superboy in there at the background, at least in some of these shots, but obviously this one focusing on is it Starfire's sister, Blackfire?
Yeah, Blackfire is Starfire's sister.
So yeah, interesting.
Commander is her name.
Okay.
As opposed to Coriander.
Don't like coriander. Not her. Anyway.
Yeah, it comes from that era of DC where if they needed an alien name, they would just take a normal word and just put apostrophes in it in like random places.
Very good. So yeah, Titans on HBO Max now. You can stream the first 3 episodes, and episode 4, and then every episode will be available weekly on a Thursday. So yeah, check that out. And there is also a video on our website of the cast reading the new Titans comic by Marv Wolfman and George Perez, which is an interesting little video there, because that's obviously very heavily influenced the TV series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a neat little video. A couple of my buddies had something to do with that over at DC Comics. So I like that they're doing those little social media things with these videos and such. It just I think it just promotes goodwill to the show.
For sure.
To the actors.
A super chat just came up there on our screen from John Patrick Van Pelt, and he's asking any chance Cara could appear on Superman and Lois. There's always a possibility, but I don't know if that will happen, considering season one's over now, and whether or not Melissa Benoist is still contracted to the CW, and whether or not that's something, that she would be interested in doing. I'm sure she probably would be, but she may want to move on to bigger and better things. Who knows? But it's always a possibility.
Yeah, and it's got to be something worthwhile to her. A glorified cameo. It's probably not worth going up to Vancouver for.
Yeah, so true. All right, well, before we move away from the television side of things, the news, big news this week, and one that we've been waiting for, was the announcement from Warner Brothers Home Entertainment and DC that Superman, the animated series, the complete animated series, is finally coming to Blu-ray.
Yeah, this has been something we've been waiting for.
Well, it's the 25th anniversary of the series.
Yes. Is there any word if it's in HD or not, or did they do an upgrade of it, or is it just a straight transfer?
Good question. Doesn't say anything in the press release that I can see about HD transfer or an upgrade. It just says the audio is transferred from the original audio masters, and the series is presented in its original aspect ratio of 4:3.
Okay, so it's going to have black stuff on either side.
I say here that all 54 episodes have been remastered from the original 35mm interpositive sources, giving special attention to extensive color correction, dirt and scratch cleanup, and adding a grain reduction pass to create a pristine picture, all while making sure not to affect the original lines in the artwork of the animation. So
that sounds like they did some kind of upgrade to it. So
yeah, indeed. So this is a great box set. It will be available starting October 12th. It is available for it's not available for pre-order yet that I can see. I haven't been able to find it listed yet on Amazon, but we will let you know when those links are available. And it does have the complete animated series enhanced content. It does have the new featurette titled Superman Timeless Icon, an all-new bonus feature produced specifically for the remastered Blu-ray release of Superman the Animated Series, reveals the complicated journey of the show and those who created the new mythology for the Man of Steel, as told by producers Bruce Timm and Paul Dini, director Dan Reba, writer Bob Goodman, casting and dialogue director Andrea Romano, and Tim Daly and Clancy Brown, the heralded voices of Superman and Lex Luthor respectively. There's also a little piece of trivia featurette, Superman Learning to Fly featurette, Building the Mythology Superman Supporting Cast featurette, Menaces of Metropolis Behind the Villains of Superman featurette, the Despo Darkseid, a villain worthy of Superman featurette. There's audio commentaries on a number of episodes, and a video commentary on the Mixius Pixelated episode as well.
Which I believe is your favorite.
It's one of, yeah. I mean, Mixie in this animated series was phenomenal. Obviously voiced by the brilliant Gilbert Gottfried. And always hear his voice in my head whenever I'm reading Mixie dialogue in a comic book.
That's very fair.
So yeah, this will be released on October 12th. Long awaited. A lot of fans looking forward to this, hoping to get a review copy so that we can give you a proper review of this awesome box set of 6 discs in a collector's edition Blu-ray release of Superman the complete animated series. And as I said, we'll let you know when the pre-order links are available to order it through our website via Amazon.com.
I am excited.
Yes, indeed. All right, let's before we go to a break, because we are at the halfway mark of tonight's show, there was a quick video released by the DC Kids YouTube channel highlighting an episode from the 1970s Super Friends cartoon series, in which the Super Friends search for a man calling himself Professor Baffles, who has the ability to make encyclopedias, lithographs, and money disappear. It's taken from the episode titled The Baffles Puzzle, which was the second episode of the first season of Super Friends. and this episode aired originally on September 15th, 1973. Here is a look at that snippet from that particular episode of the Super Friends. Take a look.
This is where I was instructed to bring the money.
And you didn't see?
I couldn't see a thing. They had their headlights shining in my eyes.
With all our super power combined, we can't find Wendy and Marvin.
The only reason the government agreed to turn over the money, Batman, was so that no harm would come to your young friends.
Cheer up, Wonder Dog. I'm sure they're all right.
Come on, Wonder Dog. See if you can pick up their scent.
Poor Underdog, unable to find the scent of Wendy and Marvin who have gone missing.
I'm trying my best here.
And you
So
can
much
check out,
pressure.
You can check out that snippet from that second episode of Super Friends on our website, so make sure you check that out. All right, we're going to take a quick break, play some messages, and then come back on the flip side to do the fan favorite segment of our show, This Week in History, and then get into what's coming in the comic book side of the world of Superman, not just this week, but in our November solicitations that were also released. We'll be back right after these messages. Don't go anywhere.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
If you're enjoying Superman Homepage Live, then please like and share this video with your family and friends. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, then you can click on the bell to receive notifications whenever we post a new video. You can also join our YouTube membership program, just click the join button below. Or you can become a patron and support our website by going to patreon.com/Superman Homepage.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Bomer, the voice of Superman and Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
I mean, it's not like I asked to be famous.
Yeah, well, it's the price you pay.
You sign a lot of autographs?
Oh, yeah, you?
Some. They ask me to bend stuff a lot.
I could see that. What?
It's Lois. She's in trouble.
Did you look through that building?
Well, kind of. It's glass.
Watch it.
Whoa.
Idiot.
Lois!
Superman, I've forgotten my wallet.
I can't carry money in this. I'm powerless.
I'm not.
What's with the spinning? He idolizes me. It's embarrassing.
My hero.
What's that? It's a huge comet hurtling perilously towards Earth. We're doomed! I think you better get this one. You can do more with the American Express card.
Wait, could you? It's for my kid.
Now we're back on Superman Homepage Live. They were pretty awesome, those American Express commercials with Seinfeld back when they were released.
I was amused that they put the card in the machine wrong so that they can keep the card straight up for the purposes of the commercial.
Funny that you spot that. Very cool. All right, as I said, we're going to get into our fan favorite segment of our show. Here's our intro. Alright, what was our fan favourite question from last week, Michael?
What was your favorite episode of Smallville? Stephen Marshall wrote, my favorite ever episode of Smallville was the season 10 episode's Homecoming. Felt like a finale, and yes, it was in parts essentially a clip show, but the way the episode was structured was very much like a Christmas Carol, so we got to see Clark react to moments, which was interesting. But the highlight was Clark meeting future Clark and asking why he was so uptight and nerdy. Love it.
Yeah, very cool. That was one of the better episodes. Ollie wrote in and said the best episode of Smallville was Rosetta with Christopher Reeve. There are so many but this was the top one in all the 217 episodes. That was an awesome episode early on in the run.
David Rustage wrote, I'm too late. I know I'm too late for the fan favorite question for last week, but I thought you might like to see the ice lollies that came out back in the day. I don't know if they were released in Australia or USA. I remember trying and failing to put together a set. Looking at them now, I wonder why, but that's what collectors do, I suppose. For this week's episode, I like so many of the Smallville episodes, I can't pick one. Sorry.
That's all right, David, but we appreciate you sending in that image of those sticks from... wow, they were ice lollies. Okay.
Yes.
Never seen those before. Have you?
I have not seen those, no. That's kind of cool, though.
Very cool.
Looks like you got the Joker and Penguin. That's kind of cool.
Interesting. Yeah, so that was the fan favorite question. Did you have a favorite episode of Smallville, Michael? One that stood out for you?
Did we have a couple more to read, or are we just breaking that up in the middle?
We did too. Oh, sorry about that. Yes.
It's okay.
I've got Justin Suarez. He wrote in saying,
Yes.
my favorite episode of Smallville was season 5, episode 6, with the Duke Boys reunited. I think with the style and location of the episode put a great twist to the show. As I love the Dukes of Hazzard, growing up as a kid, it brought back fond memories. Yeah, that was a good one, Justin. Thank you for reminding us about that one.
Ryan Ignatius Pratt wrote, 2 episodes actually tie for the honor of being my favorite episode of Smallville. The first is season 10 episode Homecoming, the show's 200th episode, because Clark got to meet his future self, who has already become Superman. The second is the season 5 episode Exposed, for more of the superficial reason of Lois's risque appearance at the Gentleman's Club. Interestingly, both episodes involve helicopter rescues by Clark.
Yes, that's a favorite for obvious reasons.
I rewatched that recently. It is cringy now, because it's just so obvious that it was just an excuse to put her in a bathing suit and to have her dancing near. I was uncomfortable. So, to answer your question, I mean, Rosetta's like an obvious answer, because I'll never forget sitting there and watching it and hearing the Krypton music and just being really excited. I honestly have to say it was the second episode of season 5, because it's this really neat episode where Clark's human. You know, he's got everything. No, the third episode, excuse me. The second episode was where the guy, the criminals broke out of Belle Reve. Because it was Belle Reve on the show, not Belle Rev, which is what it should be. But it was the third episode because you had Clark is human, he's got everything he wants, but Chloe's friend is going to launch a nuclear missile, and it was really one of the first like big saves of the series, because of Clark getting his powers back and then jumping onto the missile and falling. I mean, it's really improbable at the end because no one asks how Clark just got over getting shot. Everyone's just cool with that. But I just remember watching that, and I rewatched it recently, and I'm like, wow, this is like season 5 started off really strong. I mean, Thirst is in there, so we kind of just want to forget that one ever existed. But season 5, I think, is where the show, for obvious reasons, left like the high school trappings behind, and just went for what the show would eventually become. So I kind of dig most of season 5.
Well, yeah, John Patrick Van Pelt writing there that his favourite was the series finale where Clark did his first shirt rip. Well, his first shirt rip as Superman, because he'd done previous shirt rips in phone booths and things like that. Not intentionally. I think that was because of the scarring or whatever that burning on
Yeah,
his
I
chest.
remember. Yeah, that was the beginning of season 3.
Yeah, that was painful. But I can't remember the name of the episode, and you'll probably know it off the top of your head. The one where the young boy who was almost like a brother to Clark.
Ryan?
Yeah, that episode.
I think it was called Ryan.
Was too. That really touched me. It just stuck with me, that episode. I really liked that character.
Yeah, I liked when he came back too. Was kind of it was touching as well. And you had the whole Warrior Angel comic book thing, and yeah, that was really for Clark one of those. You can't do everything. You have all this power, and you can't save this kid because he's got a brain tumor. He's going to die. It's very sad. The best you can do is make him feel comfortable. So.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites. Obviously, the pilot was also really cool. Seeing all that intro stuff. That really set up the series for a great, for a great setup.
Yeah, I mean, the pilot holds up even today. It just, like you said, with the meteor storm in the beginning, and then the setup of all of the characters and the dynamics. And like the ending where Clark saves the day for the first time. I remember watching that 20 years ago, going, this show is going to be something cool.
Yeah.
And then I got up my own ass about it a bunch of times, but that's neither here nor there.
All right, so what is our new fan favorite question? In light of the fact that we have a complete animated series coming out.
This one's not hard for me. What was your favorite episode of Superman the Animated Series?
Yeah, so get involved in the fan favourite segment of our show. The email address is at the bottom of your screen, info@supermanhomepage.com, and let us know what was your favourite episode of Superman the Animated Series. I know Michael has an answer ready to go, but we'll wait till next week and we'll feel our favourite episodes when we return to the fan favourite segment this time next week. Cool.
Woohoo!
All right, let's get into the comic book side of things and look to the solicitations that DC released this week for what's coming out in November. Actually, before we do that, let me go to This Week in History, Michael, because I know there is a few books in there that are really cool to look back on, and then we'll get into the current comic book side of things.
Come with me now, my son, as we break through the bonds of your earthly confinement, traveling through time and space.
Yeah, it's a full one this week, folks. We start with World's Finest Comics number 3, which has this really awesome cover of Superman, Batman, and Robin playing baseball. Man, this has a Superman story, Red, White, and Blue, Crimson Avenger, Johnny Thunder. Oh, who cares about Johnny Thunder? Young Doc Davis. Y'all remember Young Doc Davis, don't you? Zatara, Drafty, Sandman, King, Lando system, and Batman. That's a packed comic.
Lana.
That's 96 pages. Jumping ahead to 1951, we have Action Comics number 161, which says Exit Superman. That has Lois pointing at a Superman statue. You also have a Tommy Tomorrow, Congo Bill, and Vigilante story in that issue. Also in 1951, we have Adventure Comics number 169. With the story Clark Kent's Private Butler. Probably related to Alfred, I'm willing to bet.
With a British accent.
Jumping ahead to 1961, I really now want to read this story. Krypto's archenemy, Destructo, from Superboy number 92. I love that skull and crossbones on that cape. That's hilarious.
That's a pretty visual element of the dog being torn in half.
Yeah, it's wow. That's kind of vicious. Then in Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen number 56, we have the son of Jimmy Olsen, who's apparently making out with Superman and Lois's son. Cad. Daughter. Sorry. Hey. There's nothing wrong with that. Jumping ahead to 1971, we have Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, number 142, that is a vampire on the cover going, bleh! I really like that cover for some reason. The Man from Transylvania is the name of the story in it, and there was a Newsboy Legion backup as well. Jumping ahead to 1981, everyone go get a drink, because we're going to be in 1981 for a while. We have Action Comics number 525, The Neutron Nightmare, which is the first appearance. I think that's the first appearance of Neutron, who has one of those origins that, when you really think about it, is like depressing. He gets trapped under like rubble for a year, or he's trapped in this thing that Lex Luthor put him in to heal him for a year. Like, Lex is like, I'll be right back, and then immediately gets caught by Superman. So he's like stuck in this machine, and it's just like, man, couldn't you leave him like a magazine or something? All-Star Squadron number 3, I only mentioned this because it has Superman at the very end of this issue talking to the members of the All-Star Squadron, telling them that they don't want to like break it down into letters like JLA, because that would go bad for them. The New Adventures of Superboy number 23, with the Superboy Who Never Was and the Day of the Secret Signal, which I'm assuming is when they explain what that's the signal thing that Clark and Clark's parents had. Superman Family number 212, which has a bunch of stories, but it has a return of BlackRock, so I'm sure everyone's really excited for that. That was really snarky, and I don't apologize. World's Finest Comics number 273, which has a really cool Superman Batman cover by Ross Andrew. This is in the Citadel of the Weapon Master. You also have Green Arrow, Plastic Man, Hawkman, and Captain Marvel in that issue. Jumping ahead to 1991, one of my favorite Dan Jurgens covers for Superman number 60. That is a really awesome looking Superman, just with the thing coming up behind him. Was that Adventures of Superman Annual coming out this week too? I guess I missed that. Yeah, Adventures of Superman Annual number 3, where Superman and Maxima are making out on Lois's tombstone.
As you do.
That's a statement. Jumping ahead to 2001, Superman, the Man of Steel, number 117, which is the Casualties of War crossover from that time. And we have The Return by Mark Schultz and Doug Mahnke. Also, we have Superboy number 91, which has a very sad-looking Superboy reflecting on the war that he's experienced. And Superman Adventures number 60, where Jimmy Olsen is apparently about to box with Superman. I feel bad for Jimmy Olsen. Finally, 2011, we have Superboy number 11, which was the last issue of that particular series, because this is right before. I think we talked about the retroactive one last week.
Yeah.
But that was a really good story. I liked that one. So we had Superboy number 11, Supergirl number 67, and Superman Batman number 87, where it looks like Joker is about to brain Batman, or brain Superman. That's kind of cool. In the real world, just real quick to wrap this up because it's going over long and I'm on the wrong page. We have on August... Did it really jump over where I wanted to go? Yes, it did. Did that twice now. I don't want to talk about Michael Shannon. I want to talk about Phyllis Scott Cranford, the official town Superman of Metropolis, Illinois, from 2000 to 2007. Was born on August 15th, 1967. August 17th is traditionally recognized as the birthday of Lois Lane. Amy Adams was born on August 20th, 1974, in Aviano, Italy, and that is it.
And that is
That's
it
all.
for this week in history. That's pretty cool. Yeah, Amy Adams' birthday coming up later this week. All right, as I said, the solicitations for November came out this past week, and there were some interesting announcements and interesting items coming out of that. A couple of the comics that I want to point out in particular are here is the cover for Superman, Son of Kal-El 2021 Annual Number 1. John Kent's first day as Earth's new Superman have been a trial by fire. His actions have already put those he loves in harm's way. He has stood strong in the path of constant attacks, but the immovable object is about to meet an unstoppable force. Lex Luthor, the man, the myth, the menace, returns to Metropolis.
That's kind of cool.
Nice cover.
Yeah, I really like that cover. It's really cool. I'm digging that.
Yeah, and then we've also got Action Comics 1037 coming out in November. The Warworld Saga Part 2, the face-off you've been waiting for. Superman and the Authority finally face Mongul and his champions head-on. The fates of Warworld and all who live under Mongul's rule hang in the balance, but he who holds all chains is better prepared than Superman knows. Not everyone walks away from this one.
Wow, okay.
Full on. Also, as part
that's
of
kind of exciting.
As part of the solicitations, and just prior to the solicitations coming out, they announced another Tom Taylor book, miniseries. I think it is Dark Knights of Steel. #1 will be out in November. An entire medieval world will forever change when a spaceship crash lands from a doomed planet. Monarchs will die, kingdoms will rise, and what seemed the end of the world for many was only the beginning. An epic high fantasy story set in a DC universe where nothing is what it seems. From worldwide best-selling writer Tom Taylor and acclaimed artist Yasmin Putri comes a generational tale of good and evil within a brand new DCU.
I wish I was more excited for this, but I'm not a big medieval guy.
Okay, fair enough. Well, Tom Taylor seems to be. He said on his social media accounts and in an interview, I think, with Entertainment Weekly, that, you know, while he's done a lot of horror work for DC with Deceased and what have you, he's not so much of a horror fan. He's more grown up as a fantasy, medieval type fan. And so this is something he's been working on, I think, for a couple of years at for DC, and he's primed for this 12-issue miniseries to come out in November.
Yeah, I mean, the designs are neat. I'm really excited for him because he really is excited for it. I hope it's great. It's like one of those things where I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, like, I understand that. I guess the proof will be in the reading. Also, as part of the solicitations was Justice League Incarnate #1. This is one of a 5-issue miniseries written by Joshua Williamson. It says, after the shocking end of Infinite Frontier, Justice League Incarnate defends the multiverse from Darkseid across Infinite Earth. Following a devastating defeat at the hands of the one true Darkseid, the Superman of Earth 23 leads a team of superheroes from myriad worlds that includes Flashpoint Batman, China's Flash from Earth 0, Captain Carrot from Earth 26, and the brand new superhero Dr. Multiverse from Earth 8 in a last-ditch effort to stop the end of every possible universe as we know it.
I mean, I'm glad they're continuing with it. It's giving Calvin Ellis another book, and just the fact that they keep putting Captain Carrot in things is kind of amusing to me.
So that's, yeah, an interesting couple of solicitations there coming out in November, along with a number of other annuals coming out. There's also the continuation of the DC versus Vampires miniseries. Justice League Infinity continues. Justice League Last Ride continues, as does obviously Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Superman 78, and more. So looking forward to what's coming out in November. Looks like an interesting month.
Absolutely.
All right, so a little closer to home as far as comic books coming out this week. This is what Superman fans have to look forward to. We have just Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, #3 coming out this week, and that is available in this variant cover. We also have Superman and the Authority #2 coming out this week, and that is available in this variant cover right there. Also out this week is the 6th and final issue of Superman Red and Blue, and that is available in a number of different variant covers. This one with the American flag, and this one here, and that is what is out this week for fans of Superman reading comic books.
Only one more week till Superman 78.
Yeah, that's out the following week, but I'm looking forward to #6 because that has been a really good series.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, Superman 78 looks like a lot of fun, and I think that'll be a pretty big seller for DC.
Yes, hopefully.
Okay. Also, this past week, DC Kids YouTube channel released an episode of the DC Super Friends animated series. This one is in conjunction with the what's the name of the kind of the action figures that are coming out with it. I'll be able to tell you in a second. But in this episode, Lex Luthor tricks Superman into a kryptonite trap, and once again, Batman must come to the rescue. Of course he does. Here is a little bit of this particular episode of the DC Super Friends animated cartoons. Check it out. Lex on the loose.
Superman. Kryptonite? Huh? Superman. Yeah.
That's just a little bit of that episode. It's only 2 minutes long, but you can watch it at the Superman homepage. It's the Imaginext DC Super Friends animated shorts, which are part of a series of animations which promote these little action figures that they're also coming out with, which we'll be promoting again soon on our website. But yeah, kind of reminiscent of the Fleischer animated series with very, very little dialogue.
Yes.
All right. Well, that pretty much brings us to the end of tonight's episode. I'd want to thank everyone for tuning in to Superman Homepage Live. I want to thank all those in the comments there on YouTube for your participation in the show, your questions, your comments. We really appreciate you watching us live. And thank you to my co-host, Mr. Michael Bailey.
Pleasure as always, Steve.
And thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. And remember, if you'd like to support the Superman homepage, you can click the join button below there on YouTube. There are different levels of perks. Or you can head to patreon.com/Superman homepage. Now, the 1 hour video of tonight's show will remain available on our website and our YouTube channel if you'd like to watch it back, or perhaps you missed part of the show. But Michael and I will be back next week on Monday, August 23rd at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for another edition of Superman Homepage Live. We look forward to talking with you then. Until then, be sure to check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. I'm Steve Eunice on behalf of myself and Michael Bailey. Thanks for watching Superman Homepage Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com.